Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here, as always, to take source material, dig deep, and really help you get informed fast. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into something that, honestly, it shifts how we might think about productivity, success,
Yeah.
maybe even happiness. It's this idea, this power of the hashtag now.
Yeah.
We're looking at how, leaning into the present moment can unlock this incredible fluidity, this sort of effortless action.
Yeah, it's about why some people just seem to glide through life's challenges, you know, while others, well, they just get stuck.
Exactly.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
usually when we hear now,
Yeah.
we think slow down, mindfulness, quiet.
Why, like meditation or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. But this material we looked at, it takes a surprising turn. It suggests that real nowness, it isn't about fighting that urge to move forward. It's actually about using it,
Yeah.
leveraging it, kind of redefining what we think of as effortless, or maybe even what we call lazy. It really asks you to consider, what if this moment, right now, is all we actually have?
Hmm.
And how does that change how we engage with everything?
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission for this deep dive: explore what it really means to be a knowist.
A knowist, yeah.
Someone who, goes for immediate action, keeps that momentum going, and we want to uncover these like counterintuitive truths about how that mindset affects everything. Daily decisions, big life hurdles.
Mhm.
We'll get into the psychology, like why done is better than perfect actually works, and why trusting your gut surprisingly often leads to, well, better results.
Yeah.
So yeah, get ready for maybe some aha moments that could really reshape how you look at your own goals, your ambitions. All right, so our journey into the hashtag. Now, it starts with this really critical distinction in how we behave. It comes from psychologist Ari Kruglonsky. Locomotion and assessment.
Mhm.
For our audience, always looking for that edge, can you walk us through these? How do they shape how we tackle goals, and what's the kind of surprising bit about how they work together?
Well, Kruglansky basically saw these two fundamental drives.
Yeah.
Right. First, there's locomotion. That's just getting on with it, moving forward, making progress.
Yeah.
Think about someone going to the supermarket. They just want to get there, grab the first okay parking spot, and start shopping. That's locomotion.
Just get it done.
Exactly. Then you've got the assessment drive, and that's focused on making the perfect choice, weighing all the options, making sure it's the optimal decision. So that person might circle the parking lot like 5 times looking for that absolutely perfect spot. Getting the decision right is more important than just getting parked.
Right. Okay. So assessors worry about getting it absolutely perfect, while locomotors are just get it done. But here's the interesting thing. Society often really values that careful assessment, doesn't it? That thoughtfulness.
Oh, absolutely.
But the research, it shows something, well, pretty unexpected about what actually drives high performance.
Exactly. The traditional view often sees that quick action as, well, maybe impulsive, a bit reckless even.
Yeah, definitely.
But Kruglansky's work, and this was, years of research, thousands of tests, it showed that assessment and locomotion, they're not opposites. They're independent. You can be high in one, low in the other, low in both, or, and this is the key part, strong in both.
Ah, okay.
And what really drives top performance is being strong in both modes. They found, for instance, students high in both locomotion and assessment. They consistently did better academically, semester after semester. They were the ones who'd carefully compare options, yes, but then they'd work incredibly hard to make their chosen plan actually happen. It wasn't about stress. It was just powerful forward movement.
That's a really crucial difference. So it's not about picking one lane, it's about integrating them.
Hmm.
And you see this really clearly with like elite US Army unit applicants, the ones most likely to succeed. High on locomotion, sure, but only if they also scored, at least moderately on assessment.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that phrase, high performers need to look and leap, leap, and look. That really sums it up, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's about knowing when to think it through and when to just go. Okay, so this look and leap idea, it really messes with how we usually think about speed when making decisions. We tend to think fast equals inaccurate or rash.
Right.
But the stuff we looked at suggests, well, not always. What did Scott Dickman's research find? There was this surprising upside to what he called functional impulsivity.
Yeah, Digman's experiments back in 1985, he actually expected impulsive people to struggle, with focus, with getting things right.
Makes sense.
But the results were, well, genuinely surprising. This functional impulsivity actually turned out to be a benefit. Take NFL players, for example. The ones who scored higher in functional impulsivity, they actually had fewer injuries,
Mm-hmm.
especially the serious ones.
Wow.
And they were brilliant at making those, split-second decisions that let them grab unexpected opportunities on the field.
Mhm.
Coaches rated them higher, they played better.
So it's not recklessness then. It's more like an intelligent, responsive kind of speed.
Exactly. And there's that Marvel's experiment, too, which kind of backs this up. The high performers, they didn't need extra time to get the answer right. Their decisions were fast and accurate. So the insight there is really that deliberation doesn't always mean optimization. Sometimes it's just slowing things down unnecessarily.
Right.
For the nowist, true accuracy isn't about how much time you spend thinking. It's about the quality of that immediate responsive action.
So the lesson is, maybe perfect really is the enemy of the good. And
Yeah.
definitely the enemy of momentum.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That really hits home if you've ever been stuck just thinking and not doing.
Analysis paralysis. We've all been there.
All right, so if this functional speed and this balanced look then leap approach are key for the hashtag now mindset, what gets in the way? It sounds like a lot of it is internal stuff, what our sources called backseat drivers.
Oh, definitely. Tim Galway, in his classic book, The Inner Game of Tennis,
Mhm.
he boiled performance down to a simple formula: ability minus interference.
Ability minus interference, okay?
Yeah. So all our worries, our daydreams, the mental chatter, it literally subtracts from what we're trying to do right now. Think of a top athlete, maybe like Andy Murray. Huge physical talent, obviously, but he talked openly about struggling with overwhelming sensations, moments of panic.
I remember that.
That was his the Rennes network kicking in. That part of the brain whispering all the what ifs, the should haves, the might have beens. Like, God. Now, that network's useful for planning, between points or tasks. But it's really damaging when you actually need to be present and just act.
Like Jordan Spieth at the Masters that time. 2016, was it? His hesitation about where to drop the ball, it clearly messed with his head, cost him shots.
Exactly.
He was distracted, right? Regretting the last shot instead of just calmly moving on to the next one.
Precisely. So it's not speed itself that Noists avoid. It's that horrible, painful crash that comes from all that internal battling and overthinking. Trusting your inner Noist means, actively working to clear your mind of stuff that's not relevant right now and consciously downplaying negative feelings about past errors. Psychologists find that people who are more action-oriented, they handle mistakes much better, especially when the pressure's on and everyone wants to win. They don't dwell, they just adapt, move on.
Okay, so if we manage to quiet down those inner critics, those backseat drivers, and really embrace that functional speed, what's the payoff? The material highlighted these 3 joys of now, and also a really strong link to learning and growth.
Yeah, the 3 joys are pretty compelling. First, there's the joy in just doing the thing, the process itself.
Right.
Second, the satisfaction of having done the thing, completion. And third, maybe the most powerful, is the sheer number of new opportunities for doing more things that just pop up when you're in motion.
Momentum creates opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It lets momentum just carry you forward, constantly opening new doors. It's such a contrast to that paralysis of inaction from too much assessment. With over-assessment, the best you can really hope for is just not being disappointed.
That's a bleak outlook.
It is. These 3 joys, they create this positive loop, right? The pleasure of action fuels getting things done, which then opens up more chances for more enjoyable action. It's not just about being productive, it's about making momentum itself feel good, turning that fear of inaction into excitement about moving forward.
And this connects deeply to learning too, right? The research on chess grandmasters was amazing.
Oh yeah.
They store all these patterns, these moves, not just by studying books, but by
playing and playing and playing, learning from doing.
And that finding that an expert's first instinct, their first move, is almost always better than a weaker player's best thought-out move, even with time. That's incredible.
It's pure experiential learning. It's why, Wayne Rooney would visualize scoring.
Yeah.
Or why Steph Curry takes hundreds of shots before every single game. It's not just rote practice. It's connecting with that deep, intrinsic pleasure of the activity. Mikhail Tal, the chess wizard?
The magician from Riga.
That's him. He famously preferred playing chess to just studying it. He embraced mistakes, sacrificed pieces, just to keep the initiative. Because, as he said it, if you wait for luck to turn up, life becomes very boring.
Love that.
That whole better done than perfect idea. Nowists really believe that. Done is better than perfect. It's fundamental to keeping that momentum going.
And this hashtag now power, it goes beyond just personal learning. It affects how we handle tough times, how we connect with people, There was the Michelangelo effect.
Yeah, that's the idea that high locomotors, people driven by action, they naturally offer more support, more insights to the people around them. They help sculpt others in a way.
That's nice.
And maybe even more powerfully, you see how this really intense, feisty spirit of survivorship can come out of really difficult challenges, like those dragon boat racing teams, all cancer survivors. They found that cancer, unbelievably, actually opened a new opportunity, something positive on their life scoreboard that just wasn't there before.
Wow. Turning adversity into opportunity.
Exactly. And research on, say, 9/11 survivors showed something similar. Distress levels varied, of course, but some people managed to stay stable, even experience post-traumatic growth.
Mm.
They literally transformed the energy from that awful shock into becoming a, quote, better self.
Mm-hmm.
Olympic champions often say the same thing. They feel experiencing adversity was absolutely necessary to build the skills to overcome future challenges, to use setbacks for growth.
Right.
As the sources put it, when your action hero falls or is beaten down, this is just one act in a story arc that is building towards more adventure.
It's a narrative reframing.
Totally. And that mindset includes genuinely liking yourself, accepting your emotions. Real toughness isn't about never feeling sad or disappointed. It's about feeling it and moving forward anyway.
Okay, here's something that felt kind of counterintuitive from the deep dive. Strategic simplicity. Making fewer choices seems to be a Noist superpower. That sounds weird.
It does sound weird, but it's all about conserving mental energy. Seriously. The research is pretty clear. Making lots of demanding choices actually drains your cognitive resources.
Decision fatigue.
Exactly.
Mm.
There was one experiment where people who spent time actively choosing between products.
Yeah.
Later on, they drank way less of this, like unpleasant vinegar drink, compared to people who just rated the products.
Because they were mentally drained from choosing.
Yeah, same with students. Those who made choices about what to study were then less able to stick with difficult math problems afterwards. It's not about ability, it's about having the mental fuel left to persist.
Okay, so choose once, keep rolling forward. That's the principle.
That's a key one. Yeah. Instead of constantly stopping to weigh options, you make one good decision that covers a whole sequence of actions.
And this applies to big goals, too, these terms. Multifinality.
Right. Multifinality is getting multiple goals done with one action. Equifinality means knowing there are lots of different ways to reach the same goal.
Okay.
And counterfinality is about avoiding actions that might accidentally block off other goals you have.
So it's about creating freedom, reducing that friction.
Precisely. And this whole way of thinking, it makes interruptions way less annoying too.
Yeah, interesting. How so?
Well, for a Noist, interruptions aren't this huge disruption. They're just part of the flow, part of life's natural flux. They see them as maybe a chance to switch gears, do something different, a little test of adaptability.
So it's about good busy versus bad busy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It lets them keep momentum going across different streams of action work,
Yeah.
family, hobbies, whatever. So if one stream gets paused,
Yeah.
maybe by an interruption, the energy just flows into another one. It doesn't just stop.
Keeps things moving.
Always moving. And, the research suggests that people who really love what they do and who embrace that flux and change in life, well, they also tend to live longest.
Can't argue with that. Okay, finally, let's talk about the future. For Noists, it seems it's not this big source of anxiety, but more like a destination they're actively, maybe even playfully building. They have this unique relationship with their future selves.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They effectively make friends with their kinder, wiser future selves.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful.
Uh-huh.
Apparently humans have something like 60 thoughts about the future every single day. 60.
Wow, that many.
Yeah. And the really useful bit is our ability to pre-feel and preview the future.
Yeah.
That lets us plan, choose, prepare, and your future self. It becomes a much stronger motivator for action now when that future feels, possible, easy to imagine vividly,
Yeah.
and like you actually have some control over getting there. Thinking about success pulls you towards becoming that desired future self. Thinking about failure, well, that can motivate you to avoid becoming a feared future self.
So it's not about just like daydreaming about winning the lottery or something.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Actually, the research shows that kind of fantastical daydreaming can backfire.
How?
People who constructed these overly positive, maybe unrealistic fantasies about achieving something, they actually ended up feeling more depressed later on, probably because reality didn't match the fantasy.
The crash.
Exactly. So instead, it's about a much more grounded, action-oriented kind of mental time travel.
Seeing the future as connected action.
Yeah, as a continuous stream of actions and decisions that you're making right now. Think about Elon Musk.
Okay.
He keeps reinvesting his winnings
Yeah.
into these huge ventures where the final payoff is super uncertain.
Yeah.
Mars colonization, for example. But it's not really a gamble in the traditional sense. It's more like an embrace of the uncertain. He's actively, physically moving towards that goal, step by step. It's about creatively connecting different streams of action. So if one path sort of fizzles out, you can just smoothly slide into another one because you were already kind of looking for alternatives anyway.
Like Kurt Yeager, the BMX rider turned actor who lost his leg.
Perfect example. He didn't just stop. He pivoted. He went from BMX, acting university, to better BMX, bigger acting, new business. He used everything that happened, even the really tough stuff, as fuel to grab new opportunities, to keep evolving his path. Hashtag tag outro.
So, wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you listening right now? This deep dive into the power of hashtag Meetio. Now, it really shows us that maybe life isn't about waiting endlessly for that perfect moment or, agonizing over every single tiny decision. It seems to be much more about cultivating this mindset that just leans into continuous motion, that courageously looks at uncertainty and sees potential, not just threat.
Yeah, and finds real joy in the actual doing of things.
Exactly. It's about building that momentum, balancing the looking and the leaping, trusting your gut more often, actively shaping your future by what you do right now.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really reframes resilience, doesn't it?
How so?
It's just resilience isn't just bouncing back to where you were before something tough happened. It's about bouncing upwards into growth.
Using the challenge.
Yeah. Fundamentally understanding that challenges aren't just roadblocks. They can actually be fuel. Fuel for transformation.
Which leaves a really important question for you, the listener, to maybe think about.
Yeah.
If all that energy you might currently be putting into overthinking or maybe avoiding discomfort, what if you could channel that energy instead? Channel it into playful, immediate action, into genuinely embracing uncertainty. What new adventures, what totally new possibilities might you find yourself just flowing into, starting right now? That idea of the perpetual joy of moving perpetually forward, it really does seem to transform life, turns it from a series of anxious pauses into this vibrant, constantly evolving story.